give Louisville a lot of credit. I thought their kids played hard and well tonight. You know, they threw the first punch in the game and, you know, just executed very well. We had good practices leading into this game. Our kids were really ready, and you know, they're very athletic. They're big, they're strong, and they were hard for us to guard at various times in the game. Obviously, we got in a little bit of foul trouble in the second half. Hunter was terrific. I thought our bench in the first half was really good. Really gave us some juice when we started off a little bit slow, and you know, built us a lead. And most of it was some of the defense that our younger kids played. So that was good. Then our older guys settled down. I thought we did a nice job and really executed offensively very well, probably the last 30 minutes of the game. And, you know, I don't like the way the game ended defensively, but offensively, high level. So, good win.
Brad, what's it?
Say Coach Payne was saying that their game plan was to try to not let Hunter beat him, and he comes out and scores 28 and has 11 rebounds.
Yeah.
What's it say about where his game is right now?
Yeah, he's just playing with a lot of confidence, right? And I think our team does a nice job of, you know, figuring out how we're being played and trying to play accordingly. You know, they doubled some ball screens, they doubled some handoffs. I thought we spit it out. You know, the first few minutes of the game, it probably, I won't say it surprised us because we talked about it, it could happen. But sometimes when that happens in a game, Chase turned one over. You need to see it a couple times before you really handle it. And the longer it went, we really handled it well. But he's, you know, he's just playing with confidence, right? He's shooting balls in, he's attacking the basket, rebounding. In huddles, his voice is the loudest, right? I mean, he's just a mature player. I mean, it's a privilege to coach young people like that, because he's really not a young, I mean, he's a grown-up. I mean, he's a man, and he acts like it in how he plays, he acts like it in how he practices, he acts like it in how he approaches practice. You know, I talked to you guys about how he comes in, gets a cup of coffee, you know, in the summer, is here an hour and 15 minutes before he lifts weights, and just sits down, makes his oatmeal, eats oatmeal, drinks his cup of coffee like a grown-up, then goes in and changes, you know, and gets himself warmed up, and then goes and lifts, right? And like, you know, what does a freshman do? He shows up 15 minutes before he's supposed to be here, changes his clothes, and goes into the weight room. And he does it every day. That's who he is, because we talk to our kids a lot about there's an approach to being a good player, right? Like, there's no accident. Like, there's an approach. And even good players in our team, like PJ, need to develop more of an approach, right? Like, there's just a maturity and an approach of how you go about your business every day, your habits. And then when you do those things well, it leads to good play. You expect to play well. So I think he's reaping the benefit of all that.
Brad, what's it mean to start the season 6-0, and you're the first team in Clemson history to do it in ACC play?
Well, it's obviously fantastic. It's great, but, you know, it's just like when you say there's nothing less important than the score at halftime, right? Because that's where we are. But it's significant for our guys in that we've worked really hard. We've figured our team out a little bit during this process, right? And we've had to adjust to some situations, losing Alex Hemingway, PJ not being all the way back, Chase playing the point. There's been some things that we've had to do, and you know, we're in a very good groove right now. I think, you know, from Christmas till now, when we were just kind of us, school was done, we made a lot of progress, and our kids have gotten better, and their approach has been fantastic. Like, our work, we've been going twice a day, and we've gotten better, and players have gotten better, and there's a belief in what we're doing, and so we're reaping that. But it's still January, 11th. There's a long way to go.
Coach, PJ, Brevin in foul trouble, Alex out. Did you think that you'd have this comfort level on your bench this early in the season?
You know, I didn't know. You know, I'm still more comfortable when the older guys are out there, obviously. But our young guys have done nice things, you know, and they were good tonight, especially early. And Josh and Ben did some nice defensive work in the second half, too. But you have to have that, right? Like, if you're going to compete for you know, a league championship, you've got to have multiple guys play well. You have to have multiple really good players, and you have to have guys off your bench that are opportunistic and take advantage of situations when you need them. You know, and that's not easy to do through 20 games, but it's part of what it is.
Back to Hunter Tyson a little bit. In this instant gratification world where you're not playing, you transfer to somewhere else, what does it say about his career here? And that each year you look and he's gotten a little bit better as a scorer, a little bit better as a rebounder, until where he is now, where he's obviously an all-ACC caliber player.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's our whole thing, Clemson grit, right? Like, that's our motto. That's what we talk about, is overcoming adversity, dealing with injuries, dealing with practicing and not playing, just dealing with challenges in your life and being tough-minded enough to, and passionate enough to be willing to do whatever it takes to overcome that and do it for the long haul, right? It's not instantly gonna happen. If it's worthwhile, you'll stick with it, and obviously for him it was. So he's stayed the course, been very coachable, extremely hard worker. You know, there's a point where as a coach, you know, the kid has to take it on himself, right? The ownership by the player ultimately determines the level of play. And he's at that level now where he's taking complete ownership, and he's just on his own.
When you have a group of veteran players who can sort of figure things out on their own, like you said, did you
They don't
back-
figure everything out on their own. Now. Like, they're still, the coaches are still necessary, but they can figure some things out, correct.
Did you back off more often during games and just let them play more than maybe some?
If you have better players, you give your guys a little more freedom. If you watch some of the shots we took, you know, some we make, some we don't. In, you know, some trying situations, you know, better players, you probably give them more freedom. There's some other teams we haven't been as good, and we have to manage the possessions more. We have to get involved on some things. You know, and then it's the rhythm of your team also. And, you know, our team's in a good rhythm, and our guys we have some weapons, so we have good players, like a Sweet 16 team that had a lot of guys that could make plays, as was evident that season.
Chase played 39 minutes, had 7 rebounds. He said that you've been on him about doing a better job rebounding.
Yeah, a lot. He's just got to stay engaged all the time, right? He's one of those guys, and we ask him to do a lot, guard a good player, handle it, deal with pressure, all the things, and then, hey, go get some rebounds too. You're 6'3" athletic. There are some times he takes possessions off, or he just relaxes, and he just doesn't think to, like, you know, go do it. And the last 2 games, he had 5 and 7. And, you know, obviously that ignites the break, gets the ball in his hands quickly. It's an important factor because we need help there.
As good as Hunter was tonight, I think it was 16-9. Y'all were down when he went to the bench. Just how important was that stretch right there?
That was the bench. The bench did that, right? Like those. To be honest with you, PJ, Chase, and Hunter didn't play very well early. Chase had 2 turnovers in the first media, and our defense wasn't very good. And you know, I don't know why. I'm anxious to watch the film. If it was, you know, what it was exactly, but the energy level from Josh, Ben, and RJ really stepped it up. You know, we got a couple easy ones. We kind of stopped them, got some momentum playing, and that was significant. We left those guys in there a long time. Like, we kept the guys on the bench a while. So, yeah, terrific play by those young guys.
Coach, this is the 3rd straight game where you've had at least 4 double-digit scores and performances. Can you kind of just describe the feeling knowing that in any given situation you have guys who can step up?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Alex Hemingway's another one when he's healthy. Yeah, it feels good. Obviously, that's part of having the confidence in your team to read the situation. And, you know, some team, like, they doubled Chase a lot, and so Chase had to get rid of it, and, you know, you're probably not going to get it back. And so the other guys got to make plays, and, you know, we're good enough to do that. And, you know, Brevin can get hot and shoot some balls in, drive by, make a play. Hunter obviously do a lot of different things. PJ around the basket area has been really good. So, yeah, you have to have that kind of weapon, offensive firepower, to be a really good team, because you're going to have guys that don't have good nights, or teams that take out a player or two, and if you're going to win, somebody's got to step in.
How do you feel on-ball defense was today? How important will that be Saturday?
It'll be important. I need to watch the film. You know, I thought there were times it was good and there were times it wasn't. And that's, you know, it happens in every game. But it'll be a big factor Saturday.
Looking ahead to Saturday a little bit, you haven't seen a Duke team without Coach K. Do you expect them to be much different with Coach Shire in there?
Not a lot. I think they're probably, you know, a little bit like Hubert taking over for Roy. I think, you know, probably run a few more plays, you know, just watching them. And I haven't watched them a lot. I've watched them a little bit. But beyond that, no, they're still gonna be, you know, very competitive. They're gonna be organized. They're gonna play hard. You know, they're gonna play the right way. You know, it's gonna be, you're gonna have your hands full, right? And they're gonna have elite players. And so, you know, he studied under him forever, played for him. Like, he knows what he's doing. And so we'll have to play extremely well to win.
Coach, this place is going to be rocking on Saturday. I imagine it was a great crowd tonight. How much fun was that for you?
Yeah, really, I'm just happy for our players, right? We've had a really difficult schedule with 9 o'clock games, 2 games basically during football. You know, it's been a weird year that way in terms of you know, following our team. It hasn't been easy for fans. And, you know, our guys have just put their head down and played. And, you know, when they're playing this well, you need to come out and see them, right? I mean, these kids put in so much time and effort, and they're giving so much. And a lot of these kids have been here. You know, people use the excuse like, you know, I don't get to know these guys. They come and they go. These guys have been here. Like our older guys have been here. We're a rare group where we got Hunter Tyson's a 5th, PJ's a 3rd year, Alex and Chase are 4th year guys. Like, we've got an older group of guys that have been in our program that if you followed our teams, like the joy of watching these kids develop, that's part of what it is about being a Clemson fan and Clemson family, is that we're happy to watch kids get better and experience success. And, you know, I hope our fans realize that.
What do you think those 2 games, back-to-back games against Virginia Tech and Pitt did for you guys' confidence level more than anything?
Yeah, I mean, the Virginia Tech win helped us probably at Pitt. I think it just, you know, kind of reaffirmed in our guys' minds that we're playing good basketball. You know, I mean, we beaten Wake at home, playing the way we played in the second half of Wake. We played unbelievable. Penn State is really good. Like, to execute and win that game, you know, a lot of people didn't see it, but it was a hell of a basketball game. Now our guys, so we got some confidence from all of that, right? Then, you know, we've made some adjustments to a bigger lineup after Loyola, and the work we did that week leading to Richmond, like, that was almost like a red letter game, right? Like, where it's like, we had a very hard week, and it's like, all right, let's see what this all means. And then obviously we played probably as well as we can play against Richmond. And so then that spurs you to the next one, which is Georgia Tech, right? Then you go on the road and you win an ACC game playing very well. So now, you know, you just hope you can keep it for Christmas, right? And then you come back from Christmas. That kind of hurt us last year. We had the COVID game against Duke, and our guys came back for Christmas, and it's like, we don't even play for another week. I mean, it was awful. And, you know, and then we beat NC State, who's really good, and we played very well. So, like, there's been a, you know, it's built, right? It's been a step ladder that has sent you out on the road to go play 2 very good teams, Tech and Pitt, and you win those games, and now it's like, all right, come back and you got to go again. I mean, the problem is you never get to stop and take a breath, right? Like, sometimes, like, we'd love to have a week off or whatever, a week to get ready. It's every 3 days you got to play. I mean, it's hard to keep that going for 2 more months. But I just, like, our guys are confident because their preparation has been fantastic. Like, I can't say that enough. Our work in practice and our attention to detail and the approach that these kids have I told them that last night. I thought we were going to play really well today, and before the game, you know, that's what you ask as a coach, is these kids letting themselves be coached. And you know, you don't always play well, guys. Like, you don't always make your shots. You don't always do everything right. You sometimes have adversity with fouls, whatever it is. But if you go into the game feeling good about your performance and your preparation, your performance oftentimes takes care of itself. When you don't prepare well, you know, then it's like, might have deserved that. Older group has done a better job.
What's your system, PJ, right now?
I think it's remarkable that this kid has had 2 major surgeries, and he's still getting whatever he's getting, 12 points and 5 rebounds, 6 rebounds, and a lot of them are meaningful baskets, and, you know, he's overcome a lot. Like, I would tell you that it was hard in those first 2 months, first 6 weeks. I mean, there were some nights, he and I are in my office, and he's struggling, like, it's hard. And it's like the confidence, it doesn't feel right, you know, all the time. It's sore. You just have a lot to deal with. That the mental part of it is really hard. And we gotta remember, these kids are 20, right? And so to deal with 2 major surgeries, significant surgeries, and to fight his way back because he wants to be with our team, like, that's why we have a good team, is because the character of our team is good.
The fact that you played so well without Alex, does that make you more reluctant to try to maybe play him Saturday?
Yeah, he won't play Saturday. I don't know when he's gonna play. Like, he's doing better. Like, he's had a good week. This has been a better week. But, you know, that's doctors, you know, I mean, he hasn't, like, practiced. He's just on the side doing stuff. So, you know, what does that mean? I don't know.
Brad, just 6-0 and sold-out crowd coming this Saturday. Do you see this as a pretty big opportunity, pretty big chance for you?
Yes, obviously, but we're gonna have to go to Wake on Tuesday, right? And then everybody, well, that'll be a hell of a game too now. Wake's playing great, right? I mean, it's, you know, we still got 13, however many more after that. Like, there's just a lot of basketball left. So it's cool. It's gonna be a fun Saturday in Littlejohn. A lot of people coming in, excitement, energy, everything we want. Win or lose, when the game's over, like, the staff will be right back in the office, like, figuring out how to beat Wake if we can. And that'll be hard as heck. So we're not gonna get too high or too low at this point.
Well, good.
Thank you.
All right.